This statue will stand as a memorial, not only to a man, but to a remarkable Anglo-American relationship that bore fruit in a great victory. A really great victory.
I want to tell you 3 stories about this statue, about British Field Marshal John Dill, and about an assassination attempt, and how all 3 of those things affected Arlington National Cemetery. This bronze statue of Dill was made by Hermit Haseline, and if you'll notice, in Dill's right hand, he's holding a field marshal baton. That's a symbol of the rank, a very common thing to hold in the 1940s.
We have witnessed this morning the battle off Pearl Harbor and the severe bombing of Pearl Harbor by enemy planes, undoubtedly Japanese.
December 7th, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, bringing the United States into the war. A few days after that, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill comes to the United States, bringing with him a number of field marshals, generals, admirals, and Navy captains. The idea is to meet with President Roosevelt and discuss how to fight and win World War II. Part of those discussions resulted in what's called the Combined Chiefs of Staff, a group of British and American officers coordinating the war effort. To make this work, Churchill leaves behind Field Marshal John Dill, and he is going to work with Army Chief of Staff George C. Marshall to win the war. The 2 of them get along so well that in 1943, when Dill is diagnosed with a terminal blood disease, he's given the option to go home to England, but he chooses to stay in the United States for his final years. After his death in late 1944, Marshall spearheads the effort to have Dill buried here at Arlington National Cemetery. Fast forward to November 1st, 1950. A crowd is gathered here at Arlington National Cemetery for the dedication of this statue. Everyone is waiting for President Truman to arrive for the dedication, but events across the Potomac River are going to have a direct impact on this event. That morning, President Truman handed out medals of honor to different soldiers and then went over to the Blair House to take a nap before coming here for the ceremony. Why the Blair House? Because the White House had been gutted. It was being repaired for the first time since it was first built, so Truman was temporarily staying in the Blair House. While he napped, 2 Puerto Rican assassins approached the Blair House from either side and opened fire with pistols. They shot at the Secret Service guards. One of them, Leslie Coffelt, received 3 bullet wounds that would eventually take his life. Yet Coffelt, in this melee of gunfire, pulls out his pistol and delivers a kill shot to one of the assassins. The other assassin is wounded in the knee. President Truman, hearing this commotion, goes up to his second-story window and looks down on the gunfight. If either one of those assassins had just looked up, they would have seen their target. But it ended differently. Meanwhile, back here, George C. Marshall, who's now the Secretary of Defense, is sitting with Secretary of State Dean Acheson when the Secretary of the Treasury, John Snyder, walks up and says, "Did you hear there was an assassination attempt on the president?" They're both shocked. "Is the president okay?" they ask. And Snyder says, "I don't know." The crowd starts buzzing about whether or not the President of the United States is alive. Suddenly, the Marine band starts playing Hail to the Chief, and the presidential limousine pulls up right here. Truman hops out, comes up to the stage, and gives a speech about John Dill, saying, I never met John Dill, but this statue and his body being here represent the bond between England and the United States that won World War II. The whole time, Truman never even mentions the assassination attempt. When reporters ask him about it later, he says, "Go look in the newspapers, they'll tell you the story." The only thing he says about it is that he's humbled that other people gave their lives for his. this day, Leslie Coffelt, who's buried here in Section 17, is the only Secret Service member to give his life for the president. For Arlington National Cemetery, I'm Kevin Hemel. Thank you very much.